everyone, it's Brandy. I'm out here a little bit late. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 10:30. So this is for all you night owls who want to sit here and watch painting videos. I'm out here. I'm going to be glazing. I had posted on my page that I was going to glaze this piece today, which I am. I'm just going to do it a little bit late. I spent the day with my family today. So I see a lot of questions about the difference between when to use wax and when to use glaze. I'm actually going to use both on this piece, but for this purpose I'm going to start out with my glaze. The reason I'm choosing glaze is because this piece has a lot of fine details, like this here and all this carving here. Oh wow, holy smokes. Yes, all these fine details will be great with glaze. Wax I'm still going to use and get a more like smudgy effect around some of these moldings, but for these fine details I want to use glaze. I'm going to show you using Dixie Belle products tonight. This is one of their glazes, and I'm going to show you the consistency of it. Sorry. So without dumping this out on the ground, I'm going to show you what glaze looks like. Glaze is like a liquidy consistency. It's more like a thin pudding almost. You see that? That's a glaze consistency versus wax. Wax is it's a solid. It's not liquid anymore. So for this purpose I want the liquid because it's going to find all the low points on my piece versus having to dig it all in with a wax. So what I have out, I just have an old grungy brush. I have a rag, an old t-shirt, and then I've tried baby wipes. A lot of people use baby wipes. I actually like these cleaning wipes from Costco when I'm glazing. They seem to have more moisture in it. Did you blend two pieces? Actually I have three colors. So this piece, this is Dixie Belle paint, and this is Stormy Seas is my dark. My middle color is Vintage Duck Egg, and then my lightest color is Driftwood. And I just blended all these wet. This has a coat of clear wax on it. I always clear wax before I glaze, and that's because chalk paint is porous and it will absorb whatever you put on top of it. So if you don't glaze before, if you don't clear wax before you start putting your glaze on, your paint will absorb the glaze and you won't be able to wipe it back as well. I like a nice clean glaze line. So I'm going to pull you guys in kind of close. Just getting this on my brush, loading it up, and I'm going to dig it into all these details here. So I'm going around all the details that I want to get it into. I want it in the lines around this frame, and I want it in these rosettes that are on the sides. I only do small sections. I'm not going to try to do this whole door at one time because once this starts to set up, it's kind of a pain to remove. So once I've got it on there, yeah, the details on this one are awesome. It's a really pretty piece. I've had it for a while. So then I'm just going back with my dry rag, and I'm going to wipe it off with my dry rag first. That's just to take off the majority of this excess. I keep finding a clean spot on my rag. Sometimes I go through 2 or 3 rags when I'm doing this. It's a messy process. My hands are filthy. I don't like glazing. It's not something I enjoy. It's tedious. But can you see, let me get up kind of close. Can you see what that's doing to this detail right here? Like it just found all the low spots for me. I'm going to clean this up even more, but you can see just right off the bat what it really does. So then, once I've wiped it back with my dry rag, I come back with the wet wipe. And I'm going to clean up this with my finger, wherever I can get my finger into. It looks darker. That's just because it's wet right now. Dig in here. Wipe over the top of this little hole right here. I only want to leave it in those deep crevices, just for definition. Thank you. I like these colors. This is a little more neutral, so this is a lot of blending techniques I've used before, but just doing it with more neutral colors. So it's not everybody's into really bold colors. You can still get a blended finish with neutral colors too. So you probably can't tell until this starts drying a little bit. I don't want to clean it out of the crevices. I'm trying to just really wipe around them. I kind of keep my finger at like a 45-degree angle. I don't want to wipe into the I don't want to wipe the crevices out. I just want to clean what's on the outside of them. So it's a lot of applying, wiping it back off, applying it, wiping it back off. And then you can see what's left behind is right in here on my rosette right here. So it's going to really just give definition to those details. This is just from the wet wipes that'll dry. Just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to do, a lot of people have questions about all over glazing. I don't generally do it. I don't really care for the look as much, but I'm going to show you on this drawer as another example. So if you wanted to darken your whole piece and give it that like antique look, you can wipe this on your entire piece and wipe it back off. This is a little bit easier because it's less clean, it's less of a clean look. I don't know if you can tell on camera or not, but it just darkened my paint color a little bit versus down here where all this was left clean and I just did the crevices. So, got fuzzy. I'll take it. Why is it so fuzzy, guys? I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to wipe this back off. Glaze is water-based. You get too much on, it wipes off. Once it sets up, it's kind of a pain to wipe off. But when you have too much, you can kind of play with the look that you want. On this one, I'm going to use waxes for my all-over look for it. So I just really want it in the crevices on this one. Let's see. What else? I'm going to do this this line right here. Same thing. I'm just going to put it on the whole thing. Looks like I'm making a mess. Really, Stephanie? You're a neutral girl? I would not have pegged you for that. I saw you sold that park bench piece, which I love that color. That piece was incredible. I guess you do a lot of whites, and I'm a color girl. So this is a subtle look, but it's not that wow, but you can see where I just did. It just made it dark in all those little crevices and gave definition to those little flowers there. First time you've gone that bold, really? I have to go back and look now. I'll turn this a little bit. I'm going to do this side detail right here. I'm not done with this one. It's going to get some dark waxes. It's going to get some gold detailing. So, again, this has clear wax, a coat of clear wax over my paint, and then the glaze just on top of that. I'm going to clear wax again over the glaze to seal this glaze in, protect it. You see that? I just covered that whole. So when do I use wax versus glaze? I use wax when I want kind of a softer, more smudgy look, not as defined. I like glaze when I want clean, very defined details. So now I'm just wiping this back off where I just put it on. Just makes this whole thing look a little bit old. All the places where dirt would have gotten over generations on this piece. you know, that you tried to clean off, but it's just gotten stuck in the crevices. That's kind of the effect that glaze is mimicking. So I wiped it off with my dry rag, and now I'm just going back and I'm really just cleaning off the top layer with the wet. So the glaze is really just for, it's not going to protect my paint, it's just a decorative accent. It's not to seal with, it just gives definition. I use it when I've got a lot of fine details. Here's another piece I'm working on. This smooth front piece I don't think would be as good for glaze. It's got more rounded edges. Don't mind my cords. You know, this would work great with glaze, but the smooth front of this would be a little bit harder. It would give it a dirtier look versus this that I just put that glaze on. So you can kind of see over here where we did too. So it's really subtle. It's just going to save me some time when I'm waxing. I could dig in here with wax too, but that's just so much more time consuming. So I'm going to finish doing this door. Looking at my step pieces, don't look in here. I have a buffet with a desk on top of it, and then there's a chest in there too. It's kind of a disaster. No, this isn't gray glaze. This is a dark glaze. I think this is considered black in the Dixie Belle line. I don't have it in the right container because I dropped the container, and so I dumped it into an empty one that I had. No, the grunge glaze, this is the one that I showed on camera in the right container. This is grunge, and it's actually a gray. I have no furniture in my garage. I posted not that long ago that I wasn't going to bring pieces home, and I just brought like 4 things home today. I really need to clear this out. Anybody who's been following, like, we're building a house, and I'm supposed to move in a few months and sell my house, and I have a garage full of furniture. I need to get this stuff out of here. But then, you know, they turn so quickly, I need to keep a supply at the same time. Hey, this would be like a black glaze. So you can see I just put it all in my details. I go back with my dry rag first, and I'm wiping off the excess. Always be careful not to touch your dirty rag to your piece because it has glaze on it, and you'll get glaze where you're trying to wipe off. Which I do all the time. So my dry rag took off most of it, but I still have like a residue, and I don't want that. So that's where I take these cleaning wipes. You're moving too? I love your house. Well, I love the pictures of your house anyway. So then I just take this wet rag and see it cleaning off that excess. So I change spots on it. So now I'm going to come back with a clean spot on it and wipe a different. Once it starts getting wet or dirty on your cloth, you have to keep changing it. So then I'm going to really just want this crevice. Wipe the top of this. Top of this one down here. Yeah, see, I got some all over. So then I'm going to come back, I'm going to do smudge some dark waxes in here too. This will have to dry. Once this dries, I'll do another coat of clear wax over the top to protect my glaze, and then I'll come back and start doing my dark waxes. Another one of these rosettes down here I'm going to get. So just glob it on, wipe it off with my dry rag. You wish you were moving to California. You have one of your kids is out here, aren't they, in the military? I don't know. We rethink about living in California all the time, but we're native Californians. My family's all here, so we're too scared to leave. But sometimes the politics in this state don't make the most sense. Trying to build our house here has been the perfect example of it. Just the amount of restrictions and guidelines that we have are so cumbersome. Energy efficiency guidelines and fees and regulations, and I mean, it's insane. You cannot do what you want with your own property here. Oh, in Modesto. Oh, that's not that far away. I'm in Sacramento. This is the drawer that we did. I'm just giving more definition to these edges. California is cray. Seriously, I'm a native Californian, but I'm not of the Californian mentality. It's just kind of funny. Yeah, California is absolutely insane. It is beautiful here, and it is tragically messed up. Could not agree more. I guess that's why we're heading to the hills. We're going a little bit country because I can't hang anymore. Your sister built a house in Modesto. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, we looked into that. Actually, we had bought a house a couple years ago, and we started remodeling it. And then it just got to where we were like, we're just fixing somebody else's mistakes, and we could have sunk another $100,000 into it, and it still wouldn't have been the house that we wanted. So I just couldn't do it. We just got out. We sold it, and that money paid for us to buy the lot that we bought. And I'm happy that we did. Just remodeling, you're always still working around someone else's house, I guess. I don't know, can you guys see that? What that did to that door? Really just defined all my details. I got this little piece. I have these ridges here that I'm going to do. You can see over here where I've already done them. Versus where I haven't. That's not a very clean transition, but don't look at that painted edge either. That'll be fixed. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, is just what glaze am I using? This is Dixie Belle glaze, and it's a black glaze. I think it's called black. I'll have to look. I think it is. I think the color is called black. You can smell black now. So can you. You're in, oh no, Colorado. Yes, you're in Colorado. Yes, you can too. I don't get it. I'm having a hard time with, because I have kids, and it's like, how do I explain to my kids pot commercials and why that's okay, but I'm telling them not to smoke cigarettes? You know, it's just, or when we go out to Target and people are high and smell like weed, it just is a hard thing to have kids around. I don't know. You know, to each his own, I get it. I don't really care what anybody does in the privacy of their own home, but having kids, I just don't, I don't know. It's an influence that I never thought I would have. I didn't grow up with it, so it's a new thing. And I don't know, just trying to explain that definition to them has been a challenge, because they're seeing it all over the place. It's like straight on billboards and stuff now. you told your kids not to do it. Mine came home the other day and said, Mom, if you can't smoke cigarettes, right? And I said, no, well, you can, but you shouldn't. But you can smoke pot, right? And I'm like, or marijuana, they say. And I'm like, well, you can, but you also shouldn't. And then explaining to them that it's kind of against the law, but not really against the law. A mess. It's coming out beautifully. Thank you. I'm excited when I put the waxes on it, how this is going to look. So, that's where I am right now. Sorry for just chatting at you guys. Oh my god, I totally got carried away. Means you should never talk politics and religion, right? Yeah, so it's pretty nice and clean. It's not perfect. It never is. But that's kind of the look I'm going for. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's everywhere. I don't know. I honestly don't know how they're supposed to avoid it all. So from here, I'm gonna clear wax this whole piece again, and then I'm gonna come back and do my dark waxes, seal my top, because it has a wood stain top, and then I'll be done. The hardware. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put some gold in here. Some gold on the tops of these. Maybe the tops of this ridge here. I don't know. We'll see. What looks good. And then my original hardware I'm cleaning up, and then I'll be done with this one. And then this, everyone probably thinks I'm crazy. This has a base of orange. I went over it with green. It's gonna be cool, I promise. I'm gonna come back probably tomorrow and I'll put the next step on camera. Anyway, did I seal this first? Yes, I seal with clear wax before I start putting glaze on. And the reason is because chalk paint is porous, and it will start absorbing whatever you put on top of it. So if you glaze on top of an unwaxed piece, your paint will start absorbing the glaze, and then you can't wipe it back. You see how much I've been wiping this back? Put it on, wipe it back off. If it's unsealed, you won't be able to wipe it off like that. It will, your paint will suck it up. That's how you get that more, messy glazed look. Which, if that's what you're going for, then you don't necessarily have to wax, but you won't have as much control over where your glaze goes. So, yes, gold. For sure I'm putting gold on it. I don't know where yet. I'll have to see. Just some gold gilding wax will go over this. So, glaze. I'll clear wax again. I'm going to do some dark waxes, some gold gilding wax, my hardware.